to the Five Side Podcast. It's been a minute again. Um, not the boys. Some couple of the boys were on holiday. We're back now, and it's time to get back into the swing of the football. What's happened since we've been here last, Craig?
Just the usual. You're getting dodgy penalties given against them. That's all that's really happened.
Mm.
3 times. So yeah, I can't think of anything else. Obviously you've had the
Since we've
European ties.
since the last podcast, I guess we've missed Rangers finally losing a game domestically. We've had teams in Europe performing and not performing at the same time, which we'll not talk about for I don't want to start crying again. But
It's okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
both teams that were in Champions League qualifiers gracefully crashed out at the first opportunity presented to them.
Yeah.
Celtic lost to Midgetland over 2 legs, and Rangers lost to
Malmo.
Malmo.
Malmo, same thing.
He's trying to pretend he's not obsessed. He knew exactly who it was. He's got the posters
I
of the
actually
results
didn't.
on his wall.
Both teams, obviously, I think it kind of goes without saying, underperformed. Obviously, Celtic are more in a rebuild. Obviously, it could go without saying. I think a lot of us expected Rangers to do a lot better. And if you can't do it against 10 men and you're 1-0 up at half time, then you shouldn't be in the Champions League.
Yeah, it was a big opportunity that Rangers just kind of threw away. Massive money involved in it as well. Obviously, going down to Europa League now, they've got obviously no European tie can be classed as easy, but it's one that Rangers should be winning very comfortably. And then
Obviously, for viewers who don't know, Rangers are playing Alashkert on Thursday night.
I'm glad you attempted the name because I could not have.
I was looking at, as you do, looking at the stats for Alashkert, and I know a lot of people don't like XG, but in their last game, their XG was 0.001. Which I feel they might be taking a lot of shots from outside the box when they play Rangers. But again, like Craig mentioned, you can't take any game lightly at this point.
Yeah, this team, they did scrape by Connah's Quay in their first Champions League game of the season. So we all know Connah's Quay are Scottish killers. Knocking out the Giants of Kilmarnock a few seasons back. Just had to get that one in for the Kilmarnock supporters.
I did see that what they called Alashkert. Seen that their most recent game they lost to a team called Van.
Yeah,
gave me a wee bit of a chuckle the other morning.
Crazy.
To be fair, the Alashkert fans are probably sitting trying to work out what a Dundee United is, which Rangers lost to.
Yeah, but it's not Van, is it?
True. They'll look up Dundee United and see that they're undefeated against Barcelona in competitive games, so they'll get scared.
And they are due to a dodgy penalty as well.
Well, thank you for bringing that up, Joe. But yes, it's an absolute disgrace.
We have to mention a dodgy penalty again to reiterate the dodginess of said penalty.
An utter disgrace. We've been cheated. There's not much more you can say.
I think, as you said, though, get the dodgy decisions out of the way.
Yeah, but 3 games that's ridiculous. Well, you could count it as 4 because we probably could have got a penalty against Kelly. So hopefully no more. The rest of the season would be ideal. if you're listening, any referees out there.
Try to think what else we've missed.
St Johnstone, obviously, they put up a good fight against Galatasaray.
They did. I watched both of the both of the ties and both of the legs rather, and just eventually, like class kind of got the better of them. But they did play very well.
Yeah, over the course of the 2 games, there's nothing they can be. They put up a good fight. Made themselves look good, and against obviously Galatasaray haven't been up there as much recently, but they are a big name in European football. And St Johnstone gave them a very good run for their money. And then I believe they're up against, is it Las Glins in the Conference League playoff to get a shot at group stage football. So,
And Aberdeen have Karabag.
yeah, two tough ties, but 2 winnable ties if both teams play to the best of their ability.
Well, Aberdeen obviously just testing themselves a bit and going out and losing to Wraith at the weekend, which is, that's good when you're preparing for a game to try and get European group stage football. To go and lose to a men's team.
Yeah,
It's not a confidence booster.
obviously
Certainly
it's not
not.
ideal, but I'm sure they'll pick themselves back up and get themselves over to Azerbaijan ready to fight for it. It was Hibs, obviously, they got knocked out to Rijeka. And basically, just a red card kind of cost them the tie. I suppose it was just a stupid red card for them to get.
It's just another tie that Jack Ross has failed in. Like, he's very good at doing sort of what he's expected to do, but he never seems to ever surpass expectations. He's always just doing what's required and nothing more.
I think that's a poor result for Hibs, in my opinion, though.
I think so.
It's a tough one because I think Rijeka were the favourites of the tie going into it. But when you're in the game for that long, as it's one each, I think it's roughly about 60 odd minutes, and then I suppose it's just a stupid mistake from Darren McGregor, and it just cost him the tie.
Bit silly, but the move.
Well, yeah,
It would have been good to have more teams in the Europe.
well, 2 guaranteed group stage, and 2 who I wouldn't put it past them to get group stage. They're well within it. Would
Yeah.
make for some good nights at in Aberdeen and Perth, playing in European group stages.
I don't think there's ever a good night in Aberdeen, Craig.
The night you leave.
Yeah, I guess that is
Just
fair,
avoid going in general.
And what else have we?
I'm sure a Phil Battodry would be absolutely bouncing on a European night in the Conference League.
Well, yeah, it's like the Conference League. It's going to have some big names in it. It's got Spurs in it.
They've got to play a playoff game. They might lose that.
It's got Roma in it. It's got Feyenoord in it. It's got Rennes in it.
Aberdeen v Spurs.
To tell you what, I reckon. I was going to say I reckon Johnny Hayes would pocket Son, but I think Johnny Hayes might be out for a wee while. After the weekend, I don't know if it's been announced.
I've not seen. I've been working the last couple of days, so I haven't seen. Obviously, Hayes went down at the end. I don't know. Hedges also went down injured. I don't know if the situation of either of them.
Hedges didn't look as bad. I know that Hayes was quick to go off the pitch, but then once he was off the pitch, they strapped up his leg, and then he got into a stretcher. So it's never ideal at that point. Hedges.
It's a difficult one because, like, obviously Johnny Hayes has had injury issues in the past.
Yeah, he's not been very lucky in the injury front.
Obviously, he broke his ankle at Celtic, didn't he? When he was just sort of getting up to decent speed when he
He
first
was a good
arrived.
utility player
Yeah,
Mhm.
for Celtic. I know people say he wasn't Celtic standard, but a lot of times he was shoehorned into different positions. I don't think he was ever really embarrassed. He always done a job.
he always gave it all as well. Like he never half-arsed it or whatever. He just was always 100% committed to it, no matter where he was playing further forward or where he was playing like filling at left back. Or well, I say filling in at left back. That seems to be his main position now.
I think it's one of those things though. Like as players get older, they always seem to drop back or play less attacking positions
Yeah.
on the pitch.
So in a couple of years' time, don't be surprised when you see Ronaldo at left back and Messi at right back.
Mm-hmm.
What else have we missed since we've been away? Obviously, we've got the cup draw. Obviously, Rangers and Celtic getting the two easiest games again. Classic. Who would have guessed?
Not me.
I expected some more bites from you there, but we move.
No one really bites when Craig says anything.
It's true.
Let him talk to himself.
Trying to think what else is new. I guess
Full stadiums, that's new.
Full stadiums, yeah. Where councils
And
allow it anyway.
I know people. Not people, but people had their sort of suspicions that it would be like up to this point by now, but it's new that it got announced and teams are allowed full stadiums. And what a relief! What a time to be back in a full stadium.
We've not been in a full stadium yet, fair, because Celtics isn't full.
oh, there we go. He's went for the first bite of.
I'm
That's
not,
true.
I'm not meaning like
He's
it's
not
not
gonna
getting
react.
sold out. I'm just meaning they can't use part of the stadium, which means they can't allow
Yeah,
away fans.
because of the restrictions, they can't use part of the main stand. Although I think they can use more of it now. Because when I was on buying tickets earlier, there was more of it available than there was last time.
Yeah, I do
So
see quite a bit of uproar about it, saying like about the no away fans in it. Celtic Park. I understand the frustration when you've got 55,000 odd tickets and none for away fans.
I think it is. It's difficult because obviously they've got so many season ticket holders, and at the end of the day, you've got to
accommodate your own
accommodate
fans.
your own fans first.
They're also not the only club to be doing that as
Uh-huh.
well. I know Rangers obviously didn't for the European tie for obvious reasons, and
I
don't think there's any away fans at any qualifiers in Europe at the
UEFA
moment.
rule till the end of September. There's no away fans in any UEFA
Which is
game.
fair enough.
Because it's the same for the international games as well. No away fans allowed. What else? I know that Ferg's happy about his new Japanese star man, Shining.
I tell you what, the boy's absolutely fantastic. I say the boys. What is he? 26, but yeah.
Yeah, he looks like a young
sensational.
boy, but yeah, he's not. He's like.
That's the thing, though. I think something Celtic have done for many years now is buy younger players in the view of like developing them for the first team and getting them into the first team, getting them minutes, getting them playing European football, and then selling them further down the line. Obviously, recently we sold Jeremy Frimpong. I think we sold him a bit earlier than we'd actually intended to sell him, but
the money was right there.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like
it's hard to turn that dude down.
I think the player didn't really want to be there any longer. The deal that was given was probably right enough for the time, and it was just I think it was the best situation for everyone to let him go. But And then the issue becomes after that is actually re-recruiting players, which slowly but surely it seems like we're starting to do. But
Yeah,
oh,
got to say with Kyogo, he
still,
does look like
still the issues and everything.
Kyogo does look like he could put up Scott Sinclair level numbers if he continues this form up anyway.
The thing is, like, he's played the majority of his football in Japan through the middle this season. Before he came to us, and then since he's arrived, I think the best that we've seen him is when he's played again through the middle. But then you come up against that issues if if we still have Edward on the books, who's playing up front and who's playing wide, or do they both play and then sort of just rotate like a fluid sort of system, and whoever's there at the time?
I think that is the beauty of your the forward players you have right now. There's so many, they're so versatile. Like the likes of Edward, Kyogo, Christie, they can all technically play on the wing or through the middle if you needed them to. Like, so they can just fit in how the system needs them at that time, or they can rotate throughout the game and stuff like that as well. So
I did notice on Sunday that there was a point in the second half when James Forrest ended up going up and down the left side for a good wee while. So
I actually do think Kyogo, although he's been fantastic coming in, I actually do think it might be a ridiculous statement, but he actually needs Edward, and in the sense that like having a guy who Kyogo knows fine well, if he's going to beat a man, he can square it to him, and Edward's going to always, not always, but 9 times out of 10, is going to put the ball in the back of the net, and him and Edward together, with Kyogo being out in the right, I actually think would benefit both of them.
Kyogo out in the
I
left,
think it definitely brings something extra to Edward's game as well, because if Kyogo's getting goals and on good form, then I think it's that thing where you're competition for your place. So Edward's going to be thinking, "Oh shit, he's really good. I might lose my spot here, and if I lose my spot, then there's less chance of me getting a decent deal to go somewhere else."
yeah. There seems to have been talks of all these teams in for Edward throughout the start of the window, and just nothing seems to come out of any of them. I don't know where it's
It's the same with Morelos. So into it's just a lot of the time these how would I put them, rags, like reporting set things have happened
yeah
and they've not happened, and like the reports, I'm not gonna name the paper, but it was reports Edward didn't want to move to Brighton because he was expecting up to £90,000 a week,
yeah it's a
which
tough one.
I mean he's not getting anywhere. I don't
No,
know. I don't care how it's
he's
sugarcoated.
not. Yeah, I mean unless like uh, a rich
A
team,
Chinese club.
comes in for him.
Yeah, he won't get those wages anywhere. But I don't think English clubs particularly have helped themselves though in more recent years with the amount of money that they are paying to some players
Yeah,
Yeah,
being
true.
absolutely ridiculous, and then players that they then end up going after are asking for more and more money, and you're kind of thinking like some of these players don't deserve the amount of money. Some of these players don't warrant their um, transfer fees.
100%.
Jack Grealish, but
Ben White.
you know it
Ben
just
White,
keeps happening,
definitely
and
Ben
they'll
White.
keep doing it. They'll keep doing it, and they'll keep just paying over the odds for bang average players.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's the Premier League way.
Just one of those ones where the English players obviously seem to be upvalued a lot more, which just any Premier League team just again it doesn't make sense. It just why they'd pay so much more for for player just because he's English. I understand that they've got the homegrown players and stuff to fill, but you can fulfill that with youth players and not splashing out all that money for English players instead of going for the good foreign talent that's about.
The good foreign talent.
What else we missed? Reports are Aberdeen are interested in signing Martin Boyle.
Yeah, with an absolute embarrassing price, to be fair.
With with a bid of 500,000, apparently been rejected.
Yeah, well, I did see. Supposedly he's got a £500,000 release clause to non-Scottish clubs. So if that is true, then that's quite low for him to have. But I don't know. It's seen some Aberdeen fans suggesting that Atlanta United paid the 500,000 and then just loaned them to Aberdeen. But strange one.
Could they actually? They could do that technically if they wanted.
I don't know. It'd be a bit of a dodgy situation. It also, it'd be very confusing. I don't. It's obviously it'd be up to Martin Boyle as well. Just because he'd triggered his release clause doesn't mean he has to go. So yeah, I don't know if there's, unless the wages are massively increased. I don't know if there's too much benefit of him moving from Hibs to Aberdeen.
Well, it's not a step up; it's just a step to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems bizarre. Seeing Aberdeen, I don't know. I don't know what they need.
I think
I've seen rumours about some players leaving and some players not being happy about playing time or positions and whatnot, but I can't think of anyone that Aberdeen are now in desperate need of after they've raided
I
multiple
still think
clubs
they
around
could
the country.
They could maybe do with like a 10, like a traditional sort of 10.
Yeah, maybe, but I guess Ferguson can play there. To be fair, Hedges could also fill in there.
Obviously, I've spoken in the past how I still think, especially this season, Lewis Ferguson kinds of need to now specialize a position in the sense that he should figure out if he's better defensively or going forward. Obviously, this year with McCrory and Brown, obviously they've got two holding midfielders that probably will give them a better license to.
Well, you say that, but
Seem to be fair playing McCrory.
McCrory's been utilised in defence so far this season for Aberdeen, which is what I've heard that he's not happy about. But again,
obviously, years ago when he was at Rangers, I actually felt his poorest position was midfield, and he did suit a more like midfield sort of CDM role. I felt that in defence that he just looked a wee bit out of sorts slightly.
Yeah, it seems like quite a...
He's one of those ones that maybe if he's not comfortable playing there, but the coaches see it as being his best position, it's a difficult one because the player might not be comfortable with it, but at the end of the day, like the coach can see where players fit best in the team, and it's up to them at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, he does seem like the kind of player that he just kind of wants to play football, so he just play where he's told to, basically. But obviously, you can understand him being
100%.
not happy if he's playing out a position he's not fully comfortable in. But you never know.
Because he has played all over the place, hasn't he? Because
he
was at Ayr and he played in the wing quite a lot.
Yeah, he was at left mid, right mid. He played.
Yeah, and then at Rangers he was playing centre half quite a lot. Then he went down to
Portsmouth.
Yeah, that one.
Played full back.
And then he played right back.
He plays right
and
back.
Now he's back to playing centre back.
Plays right back for the Scotland under-21s as well.
Yeah.
I think for me, it sounds like a player that's lost his purpose, lack of ambition. Just content to go along through the motions, happy to play wherever, whenever. If I was him, I would be saying, this is my best position. Let me show you that I can play better than anybody else in this team there. Then go out and prove yourself. Don't just be content with getting in the first team because you can play in 4 or 5 positions. Make it your own and not just be content with things because he's got the potential to be a very good player, but if he just wants to go through the motions and just do whatever he's told, and very very blasé about it, it'll just turn into a very bang average traditional Scottish player, utility player, and that's I don't think suiting to him, suiting to the game. I think he's better than that.
No,
I think a classic example of someone who's never really made a position their own would probably be Near Beaton at Celtic, who who's been there for a number of years now. Um, Surprisingly younger than I thought he was, but just he's been a midfielder, and then someone had the bright idea of playing him at centre half, and there was times when he played really strong games, but then just rash moments and silly things, and he ends up getting dropped from that position. Comes back, plays midfield again. He just gets chucked in wherever, really. Um, Not an impact sub, but just fresh legs at the end of the game to kick the ball up and down the pitch a bit. At this point,
so
where he's never really got a position.
I've got to disagree with what Billy said. I feel like he shows more ambition to be able to fit into a manager's system. I feel like if you're going, okay, no, I want to play in this position. I feel like that's just been, I don't know, I don't like that. Too much attitude in a player. Where if feel like, yeah, I'm just happy to play, wherever you want me to play. I'll sit my game around the manager's style instead of getting the manager to change his style to suit you.
But then you've got to think that you're the best in said position. I don't know what has been said or not, but I don't know what his best position actually is. I actually do think it is like a CDM role, but he's probably not going to get near the midfield at the moment.
It's probably one he doesn't even know what his best position is. But like, I mean, I just feel like the more he plays, the more he develops. It doesn't matter where he's playing; he's still going to be developing as a footballer, developing different skill sets, playing different positions. I mean, the one example.
You never know. Like if he plays more at centre. Like if he plays more at centre back for Aberdeen, starts playing well, and he builds up a decent partnership with someone, then you never know. Like he could start enjoying that position more.
Yeah, I feel like it's more beneficial to be able to be content in more positions than just one. I feel like being able to
Sure, every
suit
club
your
needs a
style.
utility player, I guess.
I don't think there's anything wrong with being a utility player. I think more my point is I don't think you can be content as a footballer playing at that level and wanting to aspire to go to a higher level that just to play wherever you want, wherever you're told. That's you know
Yeah, I don't. I see what you mean. Like I don't
I
think
don't
he'd
think
get anywhere.
defensively I don't think he's good. I don't. I think he's much suited to that kind of holding midfielder position where he can
Yeah,
spray the
I've got to
pass out and
agree with
protect
it.
the defence. Because there's been a couple of games, against Breidablik, Wraith, where his positionally at times he's not looked great. Defensively when he goes in for the tackles and that, yes, he's good. He's a good tackler, good ball stopper, good, but positionally, awareness, tracking runners, you know, with all due respect to Breidablik, the Icelandic team, they shouldn't be troubling our teams too much. And set pieces, he was bullied. He was bullied, and I don't think it's acceptable for a player in his position just to be thrown into positions on a whim, on trial and error, of gee, you can develop here. It's the Scottish Premiership. There's potentially guaranteed European group stage football. I can't understand why Stephen Glass made so many changes at the weekend. I can't understand that either because, in all honesty, Aberdeen's only real chance of success this season for me was the League Cup or a cup. I just don't understand why he's. I get he's got his own way, but I don't understand why he is trying to put not proven players in a position where he has established players.
I'm
I
gonna.
think for Aberdeen though, a huge thing is qualifying for European group stage football at this point because
That's what I was about
if
to
it,
say.
obviously like it's not Champions League, but I have seen the numbers for the money between the Europa League and the Conference League, and there's not much in it. So them qualifying for Conference League, they're getting much the same money as Celtic and Rangers would if they qualify for Europa League
I think also
football, that could make a big difference for Aberdeen in terms of like keeping decent players, like signing new contracts and bringing in other players in January to strengthen the squad, or even before this window ends.
looking at Aberdeen, they've not really sat down with one system yet this season. They seem to have changed their team in pretty much every game. They played a five at the back in one of the games as well. Just constantly changing. And I think the one thing with McCrory as well, him playing centre half, he seemed to have been pushed there at the start of the season because Declan Gallagher wasn't fully fit back from the Euros yet. But then it seems to be he's been preferred over Considine now instead of having Gallagher and Considine. It seems to be Stephen Glass seems to prefer Gallagher and McCrory as a two centre half. So I don't know whether it's just something he's seen where he just
Well, it's one of those things. If you're asking me, if you're playing Gallagher and Considine, I don't think either of them are particularly mobile, and maybe McCrory's just got a bit more mobility than those two.
My point was going to be, I read an article during the week, and it was saying that actually, no, it was after Aberdeen lost. It was the following day, and it was saying how nowadays there used to be such a pride to win a League Cup or a Scottish Cup, but nowadays for a lot of these teams round about there, all it really matters is European football because the money for winning any European game far outweighs any domestic trophy by a considerable margin. Like you could win one game in Europe and earn more money than you would for winning the Scottish Cup or the League Cup. I know obviously it's nice to win them, but I think a lot of teams now with our current coefficient standings are going to need to like just focus on Europe because that's our main aspiration is to qualify, whether it be the conference, Europa League or the Champions League, is to make the group stages and then deal with there because that's what's making players come to Scotland is obviously money. And
I think you've got to look at it though that Aberdeen were playing Wraith at the weekend. Like nothing against Wraith, but their division below them, they really should have been comfortably ahead in the first half. In a way where you just give Wraith no chance in the second half anyway.
oh yeah, I mean Aberdeen blew
It's
chances.
yeah,
There's no denying that.
100%. Like you can focus on Europe and still not lose to Wraith.
Yeah, but also
quite easily.
I feel like the weekend did show that, and there's a gap, but the gap between Championship and Premiership clubs outside Rangers and Celtic isn't huge. It shows that the top league should probably be bigger. I mean, where you had Arbroath St Johnstone went to penalties, Ayr Dundee United went to penalties, Wraith Aberdeen, Wraith won. So Hibs Kelly, obviously Kelly lost, but
I think though on the ref point, Aberdeen did make was it 7 changes or something ridiculous like that.
yeah, but they still
I just
fielded a
don't
really
know.
strong side.
Well, they fielded a strong side. My point being though is and this is not a personal attack on Aberdeen. This is just my observations from the game on Sunday. That out of that starting 11, for me, there was I would say I don't know if anybody got past marks. I really don't know. I thought the subs that came on did more in the last kind of half hour. I know they scored in the first 15 minutes, Aberdeen, but it was just one good hit. Apart from that, for me, it wasn't. It was similar to, you know, Rangers, when they played the United, they had 70-odd% possession, but couldn't do anything with it. I think it's all well and good having lots of the ball when you're a dominant team, but if you don't do anything with it, then there's no point. I mean, the right back, Garth, he was, for me, dreadful and at fault for one of the goals. The midfield was, at points, non-existent, abysmal. McGinn doesn't really cut it for me, and Jet scored a good goal, but apart from that, he offered, well, nothing. I think it was.
Can we actually stop you there? Please, let's not normalise calling him Jet. What is he, like a 32-year-old man? He's calling himself
Well,
Jet.
that's what it says in the starting lineups on Aberdeen's social media channels. So,
He also
Yes,
wants
and
to be called Jet.
Yeah.
so I
That's
can't.
embarrassing for a man of his age to want to be called
But
Jet.
my point being though is the people that they
Sorry,
brought off the
Airplane.
bench: Brown, Ferguson, Hedges, Ramirez, Ramsey, players that, to be quite honest, the bench would have given Wraith a much better game than that starting 11.
I think they underestimated Rafe. Don't get me wrong, I think they should have won the game with the team they had. I think they were poor at points, but I think they also did underestimate Rafe.
They still should have. They should have had it put to bed in the first
Oh
half.
yeah, 100%. I agree with that.
Or not put to bed, but at least like.
Well, they should have been much more clinical.
Yeah, you put in that strong sort of performance in the first half. You should be going in 2-0 up probably.
I mean,
at
they
least.
they only had one shot on target the whole game, Aberdeen.
Mm-hmm. And then second half again, it's one of those things. If you've been so dominant in the first half, you should be coming out and putting it home.
I think, well, Rafe utilised the counter very well. Aberdeen again did have a lot of the possession, but Rafe did utilise the counter very well on that point.
Yeah.
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 Some might say yeah.
Celtic and Rangers both have what are they called? Europa League qualifier games this week. Celtic played tomorrow night at 7:45 against AZ Alkmaar, and obviously Rangers playing on Thursday against Alashkert. How's everyone thinking they're going to go these games?
I think Celtic and Rangers should and will both win their games. I think I'll be Rangers definitely. Celtic depends which defence turns up. Really, because there's no doubt Celtic will score goals. It's just whether they can stop Alkmaar scoring goals.
Celtic at the weekend with, was it 30 odd shots and end up winning a game 3-2 just because of horrendous defensive errors.
Yeah,
you think you think being that strong in the first half, and you're thinking, right, we can come back out second half, score another couple goals, close the game out. But I think Jur said that Celtic, when they made their subs, not just in that game, but in games previous to that, they've made subs, and sort of the intensity drops, the desire to sort of chase everything and stay together as a unit. Kind of, I don't know. It's almost like the players that are coming on aren't, like, obviously they're not up to speed because they've not played the whole game, but they're not ready to be up to speed quickly enough. So I think if you're playing like that, if your subs are coming on, they have to be on and up to speed very, very quickly.
If Celtic were to have beaten Hearts 7 or 8-0 at the weekend, I don't think anyone would have honestly batted an eyelid. Like Celtic were dominant, especially in the first half. I think Hearts got out their own half of it twice, then lost the
Oh
ball
yeah,
straight away.
they could barely get it out their own 18-yard box.
I think obviously again it was mistakes by Starfelt. It was a penalty, Stonewall penalty, and then just more sloppiness. Like I think
I
if you're
think that
Celtic and
the penalty one's it's just silly. Like that's schoolboy stuff. If the ball's coming at you like that and you know there's players around you, you just put your foot through it. You don't try and take it down and then put your foot through it. Because if you try and take a touch, you do run the risk of it being a heavy touch and it going to someone or someone getting in between you and the ball. And then when you go to boot it, you just boot them instead, and that's ultimately what he ended up doing.
it was smart from Boyce. Obviously, I think he'd have had about 2 touches the entire game, and then
Yeah.
just put his body round like in front of Starfelt, and there was no other real decision.
Yeah, but I think that like the change that Hearts made for the second half, bringing on Ginelli, made a massive difference. It's just his determination to run at players, even when he didn't have the ball, and when he had the ball, trying to run past players, take players on. I mean, it proved to be a massive difference maker almost immediately when he got into the penalty box and um, drove in past Starfelt again very early on in the second half, and
uh,
almost set the tone for the second half. But yeah, I
Obviously,
mean,
Ginelli had what was had like a sickness bug during the week, so
yeah, so he couldn't
he
start the
could
game.
only play for a certain period of time. But he did make a massive difference. I still feel Celtic will have won the game anyway. I think I could say that quite comfortably. You'd never know,
Yeah, I
but
think the style of football that was being played was more
uh, obviously
every
circumstantially
yeah.
Hearts missed that sort of willingness, I guess, a runner. But yeah,
Well, they had a front two of Boyce and Mackay Stephen in the first half, which is well,
it
Mackay
just
Stephen's
wasn't
not
going to be
exactly
it.
known for running at people. He's not known for being a sort of like a
Centre forward, really.
yeah. He's very lightweight. He always has been quite lightweight. I mean, he was good, and he's been good, and he's still okay. But yeah, he's very lightweight sort of player. Like stick him out on the wing, and he can take folk on, but put him through the middle or having to sort of run at bigger guys, I don't think he performs particularly well with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I guess we move on. Guess I speak about the Rangers game. Wasn't much to really say about it.
Rangers got their first
Um,
penalty of the season.
they did.
the congratulations.
Rangers obviously first half just went straight through them. Second half just as if they just couldn't be bothered. They knew the tie was over, and that was kind of the end of it. Really
I think
impressive
that
first
almost
half.
happens though. If you do that well in a first half, and
Yeah,
you know you're playing a worse team, you just coast the second half really.
Glenn Kamara obviously um, hadn't had an opportunity to play any games in Europe, so was fresh and he was outstanding. It'll be said time and time again, but he will go to a top team in England or Spain or somewhere like that. Like the guy on the ball is just next level of quality.
I think he's probably what Rangers have missed so far in those two European games. Obviously, he can't play because of his ban, but yeah, I it's quite obvious that they've missed him in midfield because he gets on loose balls and he gets in like in people's faces when they're trying to attack, and I think that's what Rangers have missed that sort of tenacity in midfield.
Yeah, he was badly missed against Malmo. Obviously, Roof wasn't playing either. First leg, it was Itten up front. They just were no Morelos. Then obviously in the second leg, Morelos was the best player in the park. So
Yeah. Obviously.
I
Yep,
think looking back on it, there's a lot of things we should have done differently. But such is life. We move.
One of the things you just have to move on and get over it. Move on to the Europa League.
Yeah, a new positive mindset for the Europa League qualifier. It's not one game, it's 2 games. Go out and win the first one fairly, try and win it fairly comfortably in front of a home crowd. And then that takes the pressure off for the away game.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't go into it thinking, this is one, but you can just be a bit more relaxed about it.
I don't feel like there's any reason why Rangers can't go into this game and win 5-0 again, basically. I know it's obviously will be a tough ask, but I'd probably put this team on par with like the Scottish Championship teams, and they've just turned over the Fairmont 5-0. So
in the coefficient, the just below is it Flora Tallinn from Estonia,
yeah,
and just above Kairat from Kazakhstan.
They sound a real quality side then.
It doesn't mean anything, but
yeah, obviously that's not a one-off game, I guess, because there's 2 legs, but cup ties can always.
Obviously,
not
we've
go
seen
as
it with
planned.
Progress, Niederkorn, or Lincoln Redimps, or Konas Key.
Yeah, there's been a lot
These
of
things can happen. It's rare, but they can
a lot
happen.
of Scottish blunders down the way.
It's just let's pray for both teams. They both got group stage football anyway, but just do well.
Yeah, it's a tough one because obviously it wouldn't be ideal if they lost, but going into Europa Conference, they should be getting easier games there. You still get the same coefficient points for it. I mean, it wouldn't be a
The
bad
money's
thing.
virtually the same.
It wouldn't be an end of the world thing if they did lose. It'd be
I think the idea behind the Conference League is literally just to give more teams the chance at playing in European competition, really.
yeah.
And it's greatly appreciated by the Scottish game if we can get more teams into Europe. We can get more money into the game.
More teams, more coefficient points. Obviously, the
more money, better sponsorship deals.
Yeah.
Instead of 8 million over 5 years.
And Tottenham get 10 million for one season on their sleeve with Cinch.
Yeah. I think it is.
It's just we're looked down on. Our game's looked down on too much.
It's looked down on. Plus, the people in charge, I don't think
sell it very well.
Sell it well enough. They underrepresent the game. But we could go on for hours about that.
Yeah,
we could. And I have just checked the time, and Mr. Dure will be running out of time. So, I'll just kick us on. We'll do some predictions for games during the week and over the weekend, and we'll be back with a more normal reviewing games podcast next week. Whether it is all 5 of us or just 4 or 3 of us,
or 1,
we will be back on a regular schedule on a Tuesday night.
Let's go.
Predictions. Week 3, because obviously we've only done this 3 times.
But Billy's only done
first
it once,
game,
and he's somehow top of the leaderboard, which is
Yep.
Just I'm good.
He's cheating. Game 1 is Celtic v Alkmaar.
I'm going to go for 3-0 to Celtic.
the bold Craig. I'll press the 4 instead.
I'm going to be a negative man. I'm going to say score draw 1-1.
I'm going to be positive 'cause I want coefficient gravy. 3-1 to Celtic. I still see them conceding.
Yeah, I was going to go 3-1 as well. And I'll just stick with that. Next is Rangers Alash Kert.
I'm going to go for 5-0 to Rangers. Just in case you didn't work that one out.
3-0 Rangers.
We go 2-0 Rangers.
I'm just going to go much the same. I'm going to 3-1 Rangers as well. Next, another European game, Lask v St Johnstone.
I'm going to go for a score draw, 1 each.
I'm going to go for 2-1 to Lask.
I'm going to echo Belmondo and also say 2-1 to Lask.
It's a difficult one. Also away from home, might struggle, but they did fairly well against Galatasaray away from home. Not so well at home, but a 1-0 St Johnstone. We'll give them a 1-0 win. Karabag Aberdeen up next.
I'm going to go for 2-1 to Karabag.
Taxi for Glass, 3-0 Karabag.
1-0 Karabag.
I'm going to go score draw, 1 each. And then on to Le Weekend. Hearts take on Aberdeen in the capital.
Obviously 2 of the unbeaten teams in the league so far. I think Aberdeen will take this one with a comfortable 3-1 victory.
2-1 to Hearts, European hangover for Aberdeen.
I'm going to go with the Belmondo special, a score draw, 1 each.
I'll go 2-1 to Aberdeen. Yes, no one likes Hearts. Wraith Dunfermline in the Championship.
I mean, I really thought Dunfermline were going to be either first or second in the league this season, but they've not done very well at all so far, so I'm going to go for a comfortable 3-0 Wraith win.
I'm going to go for Wraith 5, Dunfermline 1.
I'm going to go the other way, but obviously not to that extreme. I'm going to say 1-0 Dunfermline.
I thought he was going to say like 2-1 or something. I'm going to go 3-1 Dunfermline.
Obviously,
This is their turning point.
Ferginger haven't
They're
seen
gonna-
Dunfermline so far.
That's a turning
Oh
point.
no,
though.
I have, but they're going to kickstart their season here.
Can't believe Craig, who finished last
Here we go.
season, is giving us cheek.
Alloa Queen's Park is the next game.
I'm going to go for a 2 each draw.
I'm going to go for score draw 1-1.
I'm going to go 1-0 Alloa.
And obviously, me, massive Queen's Park fan, 5-0 Queen's Park. It's the only obvious answer. And finally, Elgin Forfar, because we pick exciting games here.
We picked the best games about. And I'm going to go for a 3-2 Forfar.
I'm going to go for a score draw 2-2.
I'm going to say 3-1 to Forfar.
Well, as Craig was saying his score, I was typing in my score, and I went 3-2 Elgin. Great minds think alike, and better minds think the opposite of Craig. So whatever Craig says, just just opposite it,
Yeah, and that's why Ferg's bottom
and
of
it
the
all
leaderboard.
work out for you. I don't know what you're talking about. Hopefully Mr. Thompson's back with us next time, and he's not carted off to Englandshire again.
Well, Matt, we know you're not listening to this, but you suck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he does
take that.
suck. Yeah, and if he doesn't get his predictions, then he gets minus points for not doing it because he has been warned.
Yeah,
And this is a big boo for Matt.
yeah.
Boo!
Boo!
Do you reckon there's a booing sound and there's not? Anyway, I think that's absolutely enough nonsense for one evening. Mr. Jur's only got 5 minutes to make his event, so goodbye, Mr. Jur.
As always, guys, thanks for listening and take care. Enjoy your week.
I forgot to say hello to everyone at the start, but hello, Billy, welcome back, and would you like to say goodbye?
Hello, goodbye. Yeah, good to be back.
Craig, just say something foreign.
Au revoir.
French, I like it. Until next time, we've been the Fireside Podcast. Good night and God bless.